I'm just curious. So I'm a boy.
Thank you for the clarification.
We're gonna do some rapid fire here.
Perfect.
The rapid fire segment. We need like a little special rapid fire theme. Yeah. Okay. Most underrated muscle in the human body.
I love it.
We cut out the long pauses.
Yeah, so take your time.
The pelvic floor.
The stuff you don't post. 3 a.m. honesty. Deep talk in a Denny's parking lot. The 3 a.m. version of the story.
All right, everybody.
5%
Here we are again, 5% Podcast. As always, I'm here with my co-host, and I'm just going to let everybody know that my co-host and I were here in advance of the guest. First time it's ever happened. Big welcome to Tom Warren, and a huge welcome to our guest.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, we're also, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
And how many, you don't even know, but you're probably single shotting it in that coffee.
Yeah, this is just drip.
Just
Classic drip.
yeah,
no
Tom,
shots.
between Tom and I, we have 8 shots going between our 2 coffees, so this could be a lively one.
Yeah, but we need it just to keep up. So.
I know, yeah. Because, Lauren, you just turned 24 last week?
Thank you. No, but just best compliment ever. Yeah. I do still get ID'd regularly.
Okay, now she's flexing. Straight up flexing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us.
I know we're supposed to jump in the 5% chair. I got to riff on that a little bit.
Okay.
So this is a quad shot kicking in. So I'm at, I've been pretty open about the fact I'm on Zepbound, lost a ton of weight. And on Sunday.
A ton?
Okay. You know what?
Pardon.
We don't need the fatty jokes this early. All right. That's also culturally inappropriate for where I'm from.
Which culture?
Hey.
Anyway,
I
go.
I apologize for the nastiness that you're seeing this morning.
I'm used to it. I've known you for a long time.
That's true. We do know each other. So on Sunday, I'm cleaning my room, like a 12-year-old does.
Okay.
And I have piles of clothes, none of which fit me anymore. I'm on like one of those shows, right?
Yeah.
And so I get rid of all my stuff, and I have pants because that was easy, but I don't have a single button-up shirt. So I have no clothing. I go out to I think it was at Men's Warehouse or something, and I'm talking to the salesperson who's helping me, and I said, hey, of course I'm using AI to direct me on what to buy, and I'm taking pictures of everything as one does, right? And the salesperson takes me to the back, and sort of like with her hands, she's drawing out the area where I should look. And she looks and she goes, yeah, so this is all the skinny shirts. This is probably where you should be looking, and then walks away. Now, if this salesperson had been closer to my age and had been male, that would have been the biggest hug anyone had ever gotten. Just to offhandedly direct me to the skinny section, I didn't even know it was a thing.
What was the feeling?
Maybe this is my 5%.
Yes.
Yes, Tom's already there. I was just like, I had the tingles, which actually made me sort of question, like, why do I care so much? Because it's not like that was why I definitely don't like being overweight for a variety of reasons, but I think I would tell myself, and I would be lying, I guess, that I'm doing it so that, my daughter, who's just turned 10 today, happy birthday now. You want to be healthy, and for all of them as long as possible, and that's just not going to happen if I'm like 75 pounds overweight, right? But to react the way I did to a purely aesthetic comment, and I don't like care. I don't feel bad about it. I just find it like interesting that I care.
Welcome to a woman's world.
What? Plugs are coming.
Whole other conversation.
Yes. So I will say thank you, Tom. I will say that was my 5%. There's my 5% moment, and I think it's your turn.
Nice. I was actually thinking about this on the way over because my last bunch of shares have been so positive. I was thinking I've got to get, but talking about age and youth, like, so I have this internal picture of myself as being 30, right? I'm not. But especially with my new business, we have a bunch of young employees, some co-op students and some university age kids. And there've been a few things happen where it's like, oh, this really is a generational cultural difference between us. And I think it's more than just young people not understanding kind of the rules of the workplace, but coming with an ethic that I just don't understand, right? And so my immediate reaction is like, okay, wrong. You're the wrong person on the bus here. But I'm really trying to challenge myself. It's like, is this me not understanding a generational difference, right? Or not being patient enough? Because construction is a very kind of simple world in a lot of ways. And so anyway, I'm definitely struggling with understanding how to properly manage a younger generation of people.
So you said construction. And are you referring?
Because that's the thing. That's my world is construction. But now I've got this software company, right, where it's a different bunch of people with a different bunch of expectations and different worldview, right? So
Very interesting.
yeah,
I feel like that's a topic of a whole other show.
yeah.
It's totally different value set, younger generation, different way of connecting with them and tapping into what is important and motivates them. It's different rule book entirely.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. Great share. Lauren,
My share.
you're on the hot seat.
Yeah, I was thinking about this also as I was driving down. A few thoughts, but maybe streamline them. I guess the main one I'm wrestling with right now is I care a lot about what people think. I always have, and I also have a very strong. I feel I have a strong intuition and strong set of values, and so I'm trying to do something with my company in an industry that has done things a certain way for a long time, and I am confident in what I'm trying to do, but it's hard to stay on that path when people challenge you, right? And oh, well, that doesn't make sense, or why would you do it that way? And so it's that self-doubt. I get into my own head, and so we're in a bit of a growth phase right now, and so it's a challenge to try to stay confident in why I'm doing what I'm doing, and not to drown out that noise, but also to not ignore everything, because you don't want to blindly burst forwards without considering challenges. I'm speaking very abstractly right now, but maybe we'll get into it more in this episode.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so resonate with that, and I have so much I could share on that.
Please.
That emotion of the expectation of the world as a business person, and do you fit into that expectation, or do you differentiate and find a specialization, whether that's a method or whatever, that runs against the current?
Yeah, and also I knew, we're small. We're a small business, and so these people who are making comments or maybe giving advice, well-intentioned, they're big and they're successful, and so it's hard to not have that comparison too, right? Well, clearly they know what they're talking about, but what's worked well for one person might not work well for another. So
and so have you always been that way?
Yeah, I don't like doing things status quo, or for us it's industry standard, or I've always, you could ask my parents growing up. I always challenged them on everything, and wanted to do it my way.
Tell me a story about what young Lauren was like.
This is my favorite story to tell, actually. So I think I was 5 or 6 maybe, and I wanted, I found maybe it was like every 6 months to a year growing up, I wanted to rearrange my room, right? I like to shake things up and do things new, and I was little, and so they're like, oh, well, it was a weekend, we'll help you tomorrow, Sunday, right? Rearrange your furniture. I was like, no, I want to do it now. So 5 or 6, I moved all of my furniture myself. They came down and they're like, what are you doing? How did you do this by yourself? I'm like, you're going to tell me no? I'm going to do it anyways. So I definitely channel that, I think. That's a good example I like to use.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm stubborn.
There you go. And so how long have you been in business?
6 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right on. And did you work for anybody before you started your, I guess, placements or?
Yeah, I worked, I graduated in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working for a private clinic, as most physios do. And so I worked with them for 7 years and, 5 years. 5 years. And started dabbling on the side with some in-home physio. So it was more by request. I had a couple clients who were on mat leave. This was in Toronto. I was living and working in Toronto at the time. Had a couple clients who went on mat leave and didn't have access to a car. Can you keep working with me in my home? And I said, sure, let's try it out. And I just fell in love with that model of care. And I found, even 5 years in, just getting a little bit burnt out with the regular traditional physio private practice model of like one patient after another, 30-minute visits, just like in and out the door, like a factory kind of feel. And I just found this model, just starting to do this on the side. It was so much more rewarding. I felt like for my nervous system, I actually had time to decompress driving from one person to another, because you give a lot of your energy to people, and it's, one person that comes in the door is going to be very different type of energy you need to give them that the next person does. So you're constantly changing how you're relating and connecting and showing up to somebody. And so you're doing that 10 to 20 times in a day. It can be very taxing. And so I found that the in-home physio model, it was just different. I felt different at the end of the day.
I imagine you're able to see like half as many people in a day when you're moving to their location.
Have not as many.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like half the caseload. But you're spending a bit more time with each person, but half the caseload than in a traditional clinic.
And like, what is the problem that you're solving for folks in their homes that you're not able to do when they come into the clinic?
It's a few things. Some people physically can't get out of their house, right? Whether that's they've, can't drive because they just had surgery, they're older, they have cognitive impairments. We see a lot of postpartum women who just had babies who, getting out to another appointment for themselves is just no chance that that's happening after, packing up my baby and taking my baby to their appointments. So they're not going to seek the care for themselves that they would
And just
otherwise.
even as like a customer, we've got a son who's 15 going on 16, plays rugby and needs constant help. He doesn't have a car. Most physios are too far away for him to get to, and even if he did, it's like nobody has 3 hours in their day to take public transport somewhere, be somewhere for an hour, and then leave. Whereas with Lauren, we're able to schedule it in, frees up Laura and I, and then you get a relationship where literally, as long as Finley is home, it doesn't matter if we are. There's the trust there. Everything's fine. They come in, they do their thing, they leave. It's a game changer. It actually, I think it's a money maker for us because now we can focus on the things we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I love it. I think it's
Podcasts.
Yeah. Editing your podcast.
That's right. Yeah, just be in the back room.
Yeah, so there's the actual accessibility, time, but then also we find we can deliver so much higher quality care in people's homes because we actually see them in their space that they're living their day-to-day life. People share so much more in their own space than they do in the clinic. You actually get a sense of what they're like as people. Are they super messy? Are they organized? Are they type A, right? What's their relationship with their family like? Are their husband and them screaming at each other? Or are they does their partner give them a kiss when they come home? There's all these psychosocial factors that you don't pick up or understand in a clinic space that you can learn in someone's home that really influences how they're presenting some of their physical issues to you as well. Because you can't separate the physical and the emotional and psychological. It's all interconnected. Well, so yeah, we feel higher quality care, accessibility, time, convenience. Yeah.
And was the typical model of in clinic care, was that getting you down? Were there things in that model that you disliked?
Yeah, I think it's just the one after another.
Yeah.
Also in private practice, so physio graduates, they usually end up working in a hospital, which is public practice, or they work in a clinic, which is private. And private practice industry standard is you're a contractor and you're making a percentage of each appointment.
Yeah.
So your income is directly related to how many people you're seeing in a day, right?
Excuse my bad manners. I'm just trying to turn my ringer off. There we go. Forgot.
No worries. You too?
A good idea. We've had moments.
Yeah, we're usually clever enough to do this before.
It's all good.
During Jason's podcast, mine was sitting at my desk ringing for about 2 minutes straight. That was awesome.
I'm sure you can
Yeah.
find out.
So yeah, I imagine that's a grind.
Yeah. I saw someone posted a video the other day. The average time in the profession for a physio is 7 years.
Really?
It's not very long.
Really?
Most physios 7 years in are thinking about leaving the profession. It's a high burnout rate. Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of, not to sideline things, but, Laura, obviously she's in healthcare, nurse manager at BC Cancer, but she's been talking about healthcare burnout forever. Is it related? Is it simply because of how, I know in nursing, depending on what it is, very physical, high burnout rate, depending on what type of nurse. Is it a physical thing? Is it the mental thing? Is it healthcare? All the above? Specific to physio?
Yeah, I don't think the burnout rate is specific to physio. I think it's a healthcare thing for sure. But I think maybe more so, yes, physicians, high burnout rate as well, so much pressure. But I think just the helping professions in general, like you're seeing sick people, physio people who are in pain, right? And there's so much emotion and stress that comes with that. So you're just every day, okay, so say you see an average physio in a clinic, they're seeing 10 to 20 people in a day, depending on their model and how many visits or how long their visits are. You're absorbing that energy from that many people in a day, right? And you're also, they're looking to you for answers, for solutions, right? And I think naturally people who gravitate to helping professions like healthcare, they're very emotionally intelligent. They give a lot to people as well. That's self-sacrificing probably. So I think that type of personality that's usually attracted to the profession also has a higher rate of burnout because they maybe struggle a little bit more with those boundaries and protecting their own energy and all those things. They take on all of that from people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's exclusive to physio, healthcare in general, for sure.
Yeah. And what counterbalances that for you? Those burnout risks, right? What's the other side of the balance that keeps you doing it?
Yeah, I think it's finding the clientele that fill you up versus bring you down. So I think every physio can recognize this patient population, whether that's postpartum or seniors or athletes, right? I feel more energized after working with that specific type of population versus others that drain me. So being able to recognize which specialty, which area brings you the most joy and reward, and focusing more on that area, that's one thing. And just the model of care, some people thrive in a high-paced environment, and some people don't, and they're drained. And so that's sort of what we're trying to build, is a model for people who get drained in that high-paced environment. How can they stay in the profession? Or how can we build something that helps them stay in the profession for longer? Because those that get drained by that high-paced environment are also often the most emotionally intelligent and most sensitive, and also are, I'm not saying that physios in high-paced environments are not good physios. They're amazing, but it's just different, right? Yeah.
And so, like, what's an example of like one of the most satisfying, cases to work with?
Well, I think that varies from person to person, but for me, I love the perinatal population. Pregnancy, postpartum, there's just your body's changing so much through that period. You're bringing life into this world. It's such a life-changing part or time in your world, and being able to be a part of that. So helping people before the birth, and then seeing them after the birth, and just the changes physically, emotionally, mentally, that I love working with somebody through their first pregnancy, postpartum, and then, a couple years later, they reach out again, and then I'm seeing them again through, they're expanding their family again, and it's just so special.
It is, absolutely, it is just a miraculous and unbelievable thing that human beings, spawn themselves out this way. It's like, what a feat it is to have a child. I am so, it almost seems incredible. Like when you've seen up close, what a challenging process it is. It's like, it is a wonder that there are so many people in the world, because it's like, what a hard thing to go through.
It means that people do it again and again, right? They quickly forget. And I've never personally been through it myself, but
You've been pretty close.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think a lot that's unspoken about the process too is because it's such an emotional, hormonal process that someone goes through to bring a baby into this world, there's actually a lot of trauma that comes with that as well. And that really affects that postpartum recovery too. So that's the catalyst for this whole model, was that perinatal population. And now our business focuses more on women's health, generally speaking. And
this is our Mother's Day edition, isn't it?
That's right.
It must be.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Perfect timing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's all because of you. Thank you.
It was all planned.
Great timing. Yeah, we just have to get it out by Sunday.
By Sunday, there you go, no pressure.
Can I just, you had I thought a really good question. He was asking you about what do you do to make sure that all the energy is not sucked out of you, because you had a great answer. I feel like there's a good parallel there to business, especially in your case, because, obviously we know each other from EOA. When we first met, in fact, it goes way back to, I actually remember me and Greg being at that intake dinner, and you being sort of one of the stars at the table, and then you came into EOA.
Stars.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, you continue to be so, but you were very much, and I'm not sure what the case is now, I think it's much less, but you still had a full patient load at the time. And then as you've gone along, you got a lot less. And I would imagine, I am guessing, but I would imagine a lot of the positive energy you get is from this thing that you do, and you bring people joy, and you fix them and all that stuff. You're working out of that slowly as you scale your business, and you said yourself you're in a growth phase. There's a lot of stuff that you can make a parallel to in business, where there's some parts of business that drain you. For me personally, it's bookkeeping. I hate it. And then there's other things that I love. I love building strategies and trying to execute them. I'm currently loving building software for the business, all sorts of things. A lot of them are red, shiny things I shouldn't be doing, but there it is, right?
Yeah.
How are you managing that part? Because there's parts of the business that drain you. You talked about the different personalities. You've got staff now that you're responsible for, and you've got an actual, like, compared to 6 years ago when you started, your team is large, and you're now responsible for a lot of those people's mortgages, and rent and whatever. No pressure.
No
pressure.
pressure. Yeah.
But how are you dealing with that part of keeping the energy up and feeling good, despite the fact that your role in the company has completely changed over the last 6 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's similar. You can apply the same framework to patient care. It's like, okay, you target the patient populations that fill your cup and try to, I don't want to say avoid, but see less of the ones that drain you. And so I think it's, okay, being able to recognize, okay, what tasks you're good at. And usually those that you're good at, you enjoy, right? Not always, but usually there's correlation there. And the ones that you don't enjoy or you procrastinate on are the ones that you delegate or outsource. So I think finding people that complement your weaknesses and that are good at those, and being able to find those right people and then delegate to them. And that's, not everyone has that luxury. We're still a small business. But I've been able to identify people on my team that maybe want to take on a bit more outside of clinical, or finding those other roles or seats for them, and then putting them and being able to delegate to them, and then see them execute and enjoy executing on those tasks. I think just finding the right people that like the things you don't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How big is your team?
There's 9 of us.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are on the road.
So there's myself included in the 9, and then 6 other clinicians, and then I have 2 administrative operations staff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just last week. We were talking to Jason Cridge, and he was talking about how he recognized a gap in the market, kind of the same way, and they were doing insulin for people in their homes.
Yeah.
And just what, like, the demand that there was out there for that kind of service. And I just see the parallel here of there being like an unmet need in the community for being cared for.
I think especially in women's health, like, there's a lot of positive things coming out. Menopause, for one, right? Menopause care, like HRT for a while was this thing that was dangerous, caused cancer, right? Hormone replacement therapy. Now that's been disproven. So menopause, it used to be this phase of life that, you just suffered in silence and accepted all these symptoms as being part of the process. And now, it's huge. No, there's
Right,
actually
and
this care for it.
Right, because there was a huge period when hormone replacement was like not cool.
Yeah.
And
Now it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, there's a movement now. Women's health has been underfunded, under-researched. A lot of health research has been on men historically, so that's changing. But women have unique considerations to them that need more support. Yeah.
And now, so we're talking about stuff. I'm thinking physio. That's not physio. So how is this? Connect the dots there for me.
Yeah, so our business has kind of identified that, women's health is, most of our patient population are women, 99%. We still see men, we still see some kids, but most of our population, those that are attracted to our model, are women. So we've investigated, okay, why is that, right? And how do we focus more on these people? So one area of specialization is pelvic health, which, all genders
have
need
pelvises.
pelvic health and have pelvises, but women are more at risk of pelvic floor issues. So bladder bowel issues, sexual dysfunction, this is the pregnancy, postpartum, but also the changes in hormones through perimenopause and menopause increase the rate of these pelvic floor dysfunctions. So that's where, yes, we can't prescribe HRT. We are not prescription providers, but we understand the role hormones play in these physical changes. Frozen shoulder. Did you know estrogen? Do you know what frozen shoulder is?
Yes. Go ahead, Tom.
But tell us.
Yeah. So frozen shoulder is basically when your shoulder freezes and you can't move it. And women, usually through middle age, are more prone to this. And it usually lasts a year to a year and a half. And then you kind of just thaw out of it. And historically, the research has been you can't really do much for it. You could do physio to try to maintain, but you just got to kind of move through it. But there's actually a ton of research now that drop in estrogen is a big contributor to some of these, we call them orthopedic issues like frozen shoulder. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but
Well, what I'm
yeah.
hearing is like you're looking at people's health far more holistically than I think most people would think of physio
Yes. Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, that's a good point. Even not to like spread the curtain here, but as Tom knows, part of the show, we do research and we've got talking points and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that, like in current events, topic number one is the menopause moment and women's health funding wave. And so this is done by a skill I've built in Claude, but it's done all the research on you, and of course in physiotherapy in general, and it talks about pelvic health, perimenopause, menopause, postpartum. It's gone through a underfunded niche, which you just said, to one of the loudest growth areas in healthcare in the last 18 months. Talks about the White House Initiative on Women's Health Research.
Listen to this guy.
Well, this is just the research,
I
but
know,
it's
I
just
love it.
really interesting. Like exactly like it talks about the UK had Davina call-led menopause moment. Femtech rounds have multiplied.
Lauren was about to tell us about all that.
No, I know, but it's just I just think you raise a really good point. The whole thing with my version of what I think physio is, and then you get somebody who's actually informed, and of course you've been telling us about it. It's such a big world, and forgive me if this totally doesn't apply. This morning on the way in, I'm listening to the news, and they were talking about midwifery and how midwives they can now prescribe.
Large scope of practice, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
pardon me.
ultrasounds.
They're working on it, and they just
Yeah.
have passed legislation, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, and could you see in the future something like that model? And I don't know what it would be. Maybe it'd be hormone replacement therapy. I don't know. But would be the expanded scope of practice potentially? So yes, if you want to.
Yeah, we're actually right now in the process in BC trying to get diagnostic imaging privileges, so we can order X-rays and ultrasounds. Yeah, because family doctors, they're amazing. They have to know so much, but their MSK, so musculoskeletal or orthopedic unit in school, it's like 1 or 2 weeks long.
Yeah.
Ours is 2 years, right? That's all we look at. So someone comes to physio, we think they need imaging, we have to send them back to their family doctor. Most people don't have a family doctor, right? And then their family doctor's like, I don't know, your physio says you need imaging? Okay, and then prescribe it. So that's such a gap. And this is not just women's health, this is generally speaking, but that's something that we are actively working on passing right now. Yeah.
That's amazing.
What other chaos do you see in the healthcare system?
Oh, so much. So we actually had our quarterly meeting this morning, and every quarterly meeting we identify trends, right, that are changing or coming up in the physio world or in healthcare. And funding cuts, there's less physios in the hospital, so people are getting discharged earlier with less rehab and kind of being forced to then get private physio, and a lot of people can't afford
Right.
ongoing private physio.
Yeah. A lot of people, I guess, have some amount of physio included in their benefits package if they have that.
Yeah.
But most of your service. Oh, actually, that's interesting. What percentage of your service is out of pocket as opposed to benefit covered?
It varies so much. Like people's benefit coverage is so variable, right?
Yeah.
Some people get 100% coverage. Some people only get $500 a year at 80% coverage. It really does vary. Because we do go to the home, our rates are higher than going to a clinic because we have to charge for the travel time and everything.
Yeah, you're giving a different service.
Yeah, so that does limit. And benefits haven't kept up with just the rising cost of living. So something that was identified, this is less about the healthcare system, but more private. Physio is the only profession we've always based our rates privately on what insurance will cover versus dental hygiene, for example. Every year, their association puts out a fee guide. These are what our rates are. Insurance companies ask the Dental Hygiene Association, what's your fee guide? And then they base their coverage, the insurance company's coverage, on their fee guide. Versus Physio's always been like, what's insurance covering? We'll charge that, maybe slowly try to increase over the years. So we have a new amazing CEO for our Physio Association, BC, and she came from nursing and then dental hygiene, and she's been doing so much advocacy work. And so we're putting out new fee guides every year and really trying to pivot that and change that so people's insurance coverage is increasing as the cost of living is going up, because physio companies' fees are going up because their costs are going up as well.
Okay, so you are doing so much to specialize, right? You've got this mobile model, women's health. Like, what else? What else are your focus points?
You're selling stuff too, weren't you? The line of products that you were looking at selling?
Yeah, that's a little different.
This is a side hustle.
On the side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the side. It's not really relevant here.
How about
Yeah, but I'm just so interested in how you differentiate your business, because it sounds like just earlier on you were talking about the challenge of like differentiation versus do things the way people expect you to do them or whatever, right?
And just on that point, because I've got a little bit of inside baseball, what probably would be really interesting, because this is a fairly recent thing, but you weren't always specialized in women's health. And it was a bit of a journey to get to the point where, and I think multiple times you'd considered it and then said no. And then one day I remember you came to the meeting and said, I'm doing it. Do you want to tell us like a little bit of that story of how you did actually specialize into women's health? Because that's incredibly interesting. It'll be impactful for a lot of people who are trying to niche.
Yeah, I mean, women's health is what started
Yeah.
the model, right? It was the perinatal population, pregnancy, postpartum. So I feel like we've always specialized in it, but as I think a lot of young, small business owners do, they get scared of saying no, right? And so they start seeing everybody. And yeah, so we didn't want to turn people away. So we just started seeing everybody who needed physio in home. But that was confusing, I think, for us and confusing for the general population, right? Like, who do you see? How do you market to everybody? All those types of things. And so just started to pull back and look at strategy. And it's like, no, actually 99% of our clientele are women. And women have these specific needs and considerations. And so now it's not just perinatal or postpartum, but women's health across the lifespan. So we can follow them from that perinatal period all the way as they age, perimenopause, menopause, and then, get into that elderly category where they're maybe falling, hip fractures. Women they lose more bone mineral density through perimenopause and menopause, so then they're more likely
They also
to
last a
fall,
lot longer.
fracture, hip fractures, things like that. So their fall and fracture risk is greater as they get older, too. So it was more just, it's always been our specialization, but I don't think we really leaned into it and focused on it as much as we are now. Yeah.
So if you don't mind my asking, tell me more about that struggle you talked about earlier. Like, what are the things that you feel you should do, the way you're expected to?
Yeah, so that's more comes down to, I think, our compensation structure. So private practice, like I was saying, contractors, percentage, and we did do that for a while, but it just doesn't align with our values of creating a sustainable practice. So there are some private practices that do employee models, but they're usually commissionable employees because, again, the more you see, the more you make and the company makes. And I just still felt that didn't align. So we've actually completely pivoted now to salaried models, which does not, I actually don't know really any other companies in private practice that are doing salary models because it's risky. If your physio's not seeing a full caseload, then you're, you know, not going to be as profitable, potentially lose money. But it's something that really aligns with my values and I really believe in, and I think it's very attractive to a lot of physios, and I think it does. It solves, not completely, but I think it adds to that burnout problem.
And so, and is that a relatively recent pivot you've made, or you?
Yeah, we've been kind of dabbling in it over the last couple of years. So it started as I had my first employee was an hourly employee. Let's kind of test this out. Then I had one who was part-time. I wanted her to come on full-time, and she'd been working elsewhere. I know she wants to have a baby eventually, so that job security, that steady income was going to be very attractive to her. So moving her to full-time, I attracted her to move her to full-time with us by offering her a salary. And then, just try to figure it out from there in terms of what makes sense.
And how's it working out so far?
So far, so good. Yeah, but we've just hired, we're 2 new physios this year that are both on salary. So this next 3 to 6 months I think that's why this feeling is a bit more intense right now. It's like, okay, this is a bit of a growth phase. It's going to take some time for them to build up to full time. Mm-hmm. So knowing that, you know, what happens during a growth phase, profits drop a little bit, but just sticking with that confidence of the long-term play, and I believe in it, and I have. What the
audience doesn't know is that when Lauren shows up to our EOA meetings, Laura's my wife. Yeah. It's a now name. You're going to get me divorced. Thank you for that. When Lauren shows up to the EOA meetings, and by the way, Lauren 6 years ago was the person, I'm exaggerating, but was like, what's a P&L? How does a balance sheet work? You know,
I avoided financials. I was so terrified of them.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, without even exaggerating, she's the one who could run seminars on how to do these things. And when she shows up with her numbers, she's, you totally could. You should, when you finish today, watch or listen to the podcast. And like, you sound so incredibly professional and knowledgeable, like a CEO from a huge company, or how you know your business inside and out, to how in touch you are with what your industry is doing, what the CEO leading your industry is. You are an extremely impressive individual. Sorry, that's a sidetrack.
Thank you. You're making me blush.
But yeah, when Lauren shows up with her financials, it's like everything to the T, updated to the second. Could quote you multiple statistics right now where it's profitability or gross margin or whatever it is, but like, was never a CFO to start with, but has completely adopted that role. And I'd be shocked outside of your accountant if anyone knows the numbers like you do at your company.
No. But I mean, that is my role.
Oh, totally.
But I also credit Jason Cridge entirely for that.
Oh, 100%. He was amazing.
He definitely challenged me and pushed me last year. He was our EOA coach, and I feel he's very dialed in, and I learned a lot.
What was quite funny was I think it was our last meeting, Lauren had her numbers up, and like you said, you're in this growth mode. You just hired a bunch of people. You expect things to go down, but like,
still, I don't like it.
You don't like it, and you put this thing up like, is this all right? And it's got all these numbers, and everything's exactly what you would expect, but it was super. It was interesting and illuminating to see you describe the exact journey, but be able to prove it out in your numbers. Because everything you said that you did and what you would expect was displayed so clearly in the numbers. And then you just didn't like it. You didn't care it was supposed to happen. You wanted profit to increase yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was, anyway, it was a very telling moment. It was awesome.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. But I mean, it's nice compliments, but I have a lot more to learn still.
Well, and the whole topic of like setting up systems to motivate people, that's a giant topic, right? And the salary versus piecework essentially, and the incentive structures in between to balance those. That's a tricky topic.
Yeah, and it's, we had this conversation too at the last meeting about sharing financials with your team and how transparent to be. And I don't remember who said it, but someone made a comment like, oh, if you show that you're really profitable, people are just going to want more money. And I just really don't think that it's that simple. Like, especially not in, the type of people that work with me. Most of them aren't even that motivated by money. They want to feel valued. They want to feel respected and trusted. And they want to feel like they're contributing to something. And so it's, maybe in certain situations that is the case, but I don't think it's that simple.
And so how have you decided to deal with like that sharing of financials?
Yeah, I think it's something I'm still navigating, especially as we're in this growth phase, because I do see how if someone doesn't truly understand and doesn't, hasn't spent a lot of time with numbers or financial statements and P&Ls, they might see a downturn and get very stressed and worry about job security and things like that. So I'm still sharing, but a little bit more high level and not as much into the profits on a like month to month, quarter to quarter, just general trends. Still sharing revenue and still sharing like percentage in terms of growth of our territories and our different services, changes there, but a little bit more high level. I feel like, especially with the team and the culture that I'm building, I feel like they really appreciate the transparency and they buy in more to what we're doing and where we're going when I provide that level of trust to them, as long as it's presented well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is that culture you're building?
Just like a human-centered first, we human-centered in terms of like our patients and our clients, delivering the highest quality care that we can, and also, building a workplace culture of human-centered. Like, it's sustainable. People feel valued and respected and supported. They love showing up to work. They're motivated in terms of being the best that they can be, and they feel safe. There's this collaboration and trust that they can come and express themselves. There's a place for everybody. And yeah, I don't know how you would summarize that into one word or centered or phrase, but I would say human.
Human. There you go.
First.
That seems like a good word.
Yeah.
Do you know your core values off by heart?
Yes.
I thought what are they?
Communication. The 5 C's we call them, core connection. So communication, connection, collaboration, community, and compassion.
Nice. I love
And
that it's
connection and, communication is one of our biggest ones, but connection is like in our core connection.
Yes.
So connection with each other, connection with our clients.
Did you have those from day one, or did those come together over time?
Those came together over time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a perfect name, core connection, with all of those in there. Very well aligned.
Okay, it is just shocking how quickly time
I know.
goes
I was
by in
going
this
to say, do you want me
podcast.
to zip
We're
to
gonna we're gonna do some rapid fire here.
Perfect.
The rapid fire segment. We need like a little special rapid fire theme music. Yeah. Okay. Best advice you've ever gotten about leading a team.
I think just be true to yourself. Yeah.
Hardest lesson you've learned as a founder?
Not everybody is going to be as aligned or bought into what you're trying to build as you are. And that includes people outside of your business, but also people inside of your business.
In your business, your family, your friends, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Most underrated muscle in the human body.
I love that.
The pelvic floor.
Biggest misconception about pelvic health you wish you could erase.
It's not as simple as just do your Kegels. So much more to it than that.
Oh my God, we were just talking about this.
So this is rapid fire. Sorry.
Yeah, no time for discussion.
One thing you change about how Canadians access physiotherapy.
Oh, more public funding. Yeah. Yeah, rapid fire. Can I go off about this or no?
You can.
Go for
Okay.
it.
So MSP, if someone's considered low income, MSP will give you a certain amount towards your private physio for 10 sessions a year. That amount is $23 a visit, and it's been the same since 2001. Wow. And most people who qualify for that MSP actually can't afford the rest of the physio sessions once that $23 is taken off. Yeah.
Boy.
Crazy.
Beach day or hike on the island?
Hike on the island.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee should do.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt the segment. Hey, look, it's not all perfect. You didn't have to. There are options. You don't have to go.
I already
through
skipped
It's
over
ridiculous. Lauren, you've been in EO for how many years now?
So this is my third.
Your third year.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your EO experience, maybe specific to EOA, and what it's meant for you, what it's done for you?
Yeah, I think, it's the first one is just accountability. There's always these things we should be doing, and I think having that meeting every month and showing up knowing that you have to present, you have to talk about what's changed, what you've done, what you haven't done, just that intrinsic potential for self-shame of I didn't do what I said I was going to do. That accountability is huge. Also, I get overwhelmed very easily and beat myself up, and going and sitting in this meeting and knowing that everybody else has similar, if not bigger, problems to yourself it's just really nice to know that you're not alone. And just being able to bounce ideas off of people as well.
Now, in the 3 years that you've been in EOA, can you think of a moment, advice, whether it was in a classroom, in an accountability meeting, or on the phone or via text, where someone gave you something that changed the direction of your business?
Oh, I think there's a few moments. Last year, I think credit to Jason he sat me down outside of one of our meetings, and we went, deep dive through some of the financials, and I felt like that was a huge shifting point for my confidence and to just really understand what I was trying to do and to make sense of it all. So that was a big one. And then this year, I think a lot of work on strategy and, getting that clarity of that women's health focus. And it's so funny because I think about it now and I'm just it doesn't seem like a big shift. Yeah, duh, we've always been focused on women's health. And
I was almost going to push back on you. I'm you're making this sound like it just happened. It was a lot harder than that.
But it felt like such a big shift at the time.
Yeah.
But now it's just well, yeah.
Of course we do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you just tell me, and I super appreciate that over the course of the years, some of the classroom sessions are fantastic, some don't land or are required, or maybe the teacher's not your style. But for those that do go well, can you tell us a little bit what it's like going to a structured classroom and learning for a day?
Yeah. Tell you what goes well, or what do you?
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
What you assuming you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's something very specific to the program, right? It's very different from the EO experience where you just meet and forum, do something almost very similar to an EOA, just EO. But in EOA, I was just talking to a new recruit yesterday, actually. And one of the things I said that I really appreciate, the learning's great, but for me personally, it's a day I'm forced to schedule where at a high level, I'm thinking my business. Mm-hmm. And often I won't do that. Yeah. And I might actually, my brain's going to go, I'm going to be thinking about business. I'm actually coming to something that has nothing to do with the learning material. But the fact I got to sit at 100,000 feet for, 3 to 6 hours is often invaluable. So anyway, that was just my personal takeaway. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I think because the first year I was in EO's Catalyst, and I find I'm a very structured person, and so that shift to EOA, it's that tactical approach and the tactical advice. It's okay, I have clarity on 3 things I need to do between now and the next month to actually move the needle forwards, rather than, I love the talking about the challenges and the emotions and the things behind the scenes. But I'm also a woman, and I have so many female friends that we talk about that stuff all the time, right? So I'm here, I want that like tactical advice, and it's not really a roadmap because a lot of it is evolving, but it's, like just tactical.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. I love structure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tom, you want to take us home with the final section?
Well, I'm just curious. So I'm a boy, and
Thank you for the clarification.
and much and all as the chapter has like grown quite a bit in non-boy content. I am interested. Like, what do you think is like fundamentally different about the experience of a male and a female entrepreneur?
Experience as in like how they experience it.
No, your experience of it.
I mean, this is a stereotype. I think generally women tend to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent. They're more feelings based. So I think it's, I think that's a strength, but can sometimes be a weakness as well. So I think sometimes, in that, like when I talk about my values and what I'm trying to build, it's so focused on the human and everything, but you don't want to lose that other side, right? That decisiveness, that forward momentum, and that structure. I don't know, I'm losing some of the words, but I think that's the benefit of having different opinions and genders in a room, is being able to learn from each other, and those strengths maybe that are typically more feminine or female versus more masculine, and bringing them together. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, well, no. Do you think that the chapter, like, your experience in EO, Vancouver Island, what does the chapter need to learn? Maybe from a female perspective that hasn't been, brought on enough.
I don't know if I have an answer to that question. I think our People Day in EOA, like I feel like it does touch on a lot of, the intrinsic motivators of people, and maybe more, at the end of the day, it's, everything is about relationships, right? So maybe something that's more soft, like in the sense of, like in physio, we call it motivational interviewing. That's a skill set we have. So learning how to ask the right questions and to listen, like active listening, and some of those like softer skills that I think are important for a leader that maybe are harder to teach. And that comes more from psychology and human behavior, and I don't know if that's making any sense.
Entirely.
Totally.
Yeah. I think we could all do more listening. Yeah. And and anyway, I'm so excited by what your business is and what you guys do, and it just so comes through that human core value that you're talking about. So
Thank you.
anyway, real delight to get to know you some more. So thanks for coming on our show here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
You didn't ask me about the book or podcast. I had that prepared, that answer.
You see that? I'm trying to stick to structure. He's going off script. So yes, please share us a resource. I love how prepared Lauren is. This is on brand Lauren. Everybody's listening live. I love
me
it.
Instructions.
I gave you instructions. She is ready for it. I love it.
Classic Lauren. Okay, well, I'm going to pull from, this actually came from Alex Armitage.
Nice.
I always go back to this piece of advice he gave me. I remember one group, this was last year, I think, I was just so overwhelmed, in tears, Just feeling like I didn't know anything, and where do I even go from here? And he gave me one piece of advice. It's from Atomic Habits, James Clear. James Clear? Yeah. James Clear's book. And I might be butchering this, but my interpretation of it is like, okay, one habit or one small thing that you do every day compounded over 365 days ends up being huge, right? And so I find that I always go back to that when I'm feeling overwhelmed or like self-doubt, or where do I even go from here? What do I even start with today? It's like, just think of like one small thing. And if you can focus on one small thing every day for 365 days. So I always go back to that. I think that's like the best piece of advice for me personally to deal with my overwhelm and self-doubt.
Thank you. Now, please tell us about your podcast.
Oh, TMI Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about vaginas, you should listen to TMI Tuesdays. So it's about women's health, obviously. And we talk about pelvic floor issues. We talk about sex. We talk about menopause. We talk about peeing your pants when you're running, all sorts of things. Yeah.
We got to spice up our game
We
here.
do. Laura, we should have opened with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now you can only find us on Spotify, but apparently YouTube is the place to be, you say. So
Apparently Instagram is the place to be as
Yeah, I
well.
know, you guys need to.
So we got to
get
up our
on
game.
Insta. Yeah.
We'll be snap taking you before the end of the
Well, I
week.
wanted to take a picture of this amazing podcast setup and tag you in it on Instagram, but I was like, they don't even have Instagram.
We will make it happen, because you are right. If you are there, you are definitely the demographic. So we will have to get there for sure. Shall we make that a wrap?
Right on.
Amazing.
Thanks,
you.
Is that what we do?
That's from now on, that's the thing.
Should we all thank you?